Hey guys, welcome to today's video. We are talking about the Bargainer series. We are talking about book number 2, which is called A Strange Hymn. This book was written by Laura Thalassa
and narrated by Susanna Jones.
We're gonna get into it. I just did a review recently of book number 1, which is Rhapsodic, and it was really good. There were some parts that I missed. You guys, that was my first book review ever, so bear with me on that video. I'm gonna try to be a little bit better today. I have a little bit of a structure in terms of what I want to talk about, so hopefully I can relay my thoughts in a way that makes sense. All right, so we're gonna get right into this. First of all, I would love to say this book was also really good. I really enjoyed the storyline of this. This was more, book 1, we were introduced to the characters, we were introduced to the world, we were introduced to the storyline, the plot, and, the antagonist, which was the Thief of Souls. Moving into, we have the Thief of Souls, we figure out who the real enemy was. We also had Karnan, which is the king of the Fauna Kingdom, which I couldn't remember in the last video, but the Fauna Kingdom, which is the animal kingdom, and he was really who captured Callie. So we had that whole conflict of her being captured in book 1 towards the end, of figuring out who the Thief of Souls is. We had that dynamic in book 1. Now in this book, they're mates, right? And so she's rescued from the kingdom, the Fauna Kingdom, and now she is in the Night Kingdom with her mates, settling into this whole mate dynamic, right? Of going from really a good friend, from the bargainer relationship to someone who is in debt, to now being a mate, being in a relationship with someone she's loved her whole life, essentially, or most of her life, to now being in this kingdom where we're seeing the dynamic has shifted, right? Where before he was in her world and he was more of an outsider in that world, where it was her world. Earth is her world, right? And so now in her world, she basically was in her comfort zone. This is her home, this is her school. He came to her room, he came to visit her. He was the one who would, answer her calls and be there whenever she needed him. But now it's a new dynamic of she is with him. She is in his kingdom. She's in his world. She's the outsider. She's the foreigner, right? And so now we're getting that dynamic of her being this foreigner, him being this king, and her being in this random place of like, oh my God, he is no longer just a bargainer. He's legit a king who runs a kingdom, and I'm in his castle. What is life, right? Not only that, in the last book, when she actually was captured, what I kind of did, briefly mention this, but King Karnan, who's the king of the Fauna Kingdom, he actually gave her wings and scales. So now she went from being this gorgeous siren, beautiful lady, or beautiful woman, to now having wings, which are pretty wings, and scales on her arms, as well as black claws. And so now she's like, who am I, right? She's now faced with this identity crisis and trying to navigate this new identity that was just randomly placed on her that she didn't ask for. No one asked for this, right? Nobody. She has wings. Like what? And so it's like awkward because she's in this new relationship, because remember, they weren't lovers before, but they're lovers now. So she's in this new relationship with someone who she knew from since she was 16 years old, but she's in this new place. But now, in addition to the discomfort and being out of the comfort zone of being in this new place, this foreign land, she now has wings and scales that she has to deal with in a new relationship. So everything is just new, raw, fresh, complicated. And so it's just messy and it doesn't feel right. And it starts off with this huge internal conflict, and also a conflict in their relationship of, I don't want him to touch me because I'm not confident in myself, and I don't want to, have any kind of intimate relations with him right now because I have wings and I can't even lie down on my back because my wings are in the way. Like, it's weird, right? So that's kind of how it is. Now, you know, what I love is that in this book, we get to go into the flora kingdom, which is the plant kingdom, essentially. And we get to see that kingdom. We're introduced to queen of the fauna kingdom. Her name is Mara, I think it is. Let me see my notes here. Mara. Her name is Mara. She's a queen of the flora kingdom. And then you have Green Man, who is also the king consort. And so we're introduced to them. We're also introduced to Janus Soleil, which is the king of the day court, the day kingdom. And so we're introduced to these new characters. We are able to now see the dynamics of how each of these kingdoms, you know, relate to each other. The night kingdom with the flora kingdom with the day court or day kingdom. And we all know that the fauna kingdom is the king is dead, right? Now we have this conflict of all of these leaders kind of also having a major problem that we didn't solve in the first book, which is there's a soul snatcher, there's a thief of souls, there's still sleeping female warriors, but now male warriors are missing, right? What's going on with that? What's happening with that? Who's stealing souls? Who's causing this to happen? And we have these creepy kids still, right? What's going on with that? It feels like we're building up to something, but we don't know what's going to happen, right? And so that's kind of what the story is about. We have the conflict of the different kingdoms, and we have the conflict of who is snatching souls out here, what's going on, and it's just an amazing plot and storyline. I can't talk enough about how amazing Laura Thalassa is of a writer. She's an amazing writer. She is very creative in the way that she writes. And also what I love about her is the humor she brings to the table with the storylines. Again, Calypso Lilith, Callie, the main character, she is hilarious to me. Very snarky, very sarcastic, you know, temper whenever she speaks. I already know I'm gonna crack up because her personality is just so raw, so like ghetto fabulous kind of, but not really ghetto fabulous, but just like she's hood, like she's about that life, right? She's a thug, like she's about that life. And I love her for that. So I just really enjoyed this story. So I would recommend that you guys would read it if you're looking for a magical, you know, story with magic and fairies and fae and just amazingness. Go ahead and read this scrumptious book. You guys are gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna go on to the spoiler section of this review. So if you don't like spoilers, then go ahead and click out of this video. But if you're like me and you love to be spoiled on books that you want to read, and you don't mind listening to other people's opinions on a book before you read it, then go ahead and keep on watching. So you guys, here's the deal. This book is even hotter than book one, okay? Book one was hot, but book two is hotter, okay? The sex scenes in this book is just like, whoa, hello, help. This is a lot in a good way. It's really, really good. But besides that, I just want to talk about the fact that Calypso now has wings. Like, what? She's a siren and she has wings. And I thought I would have hated it. I was like, you know, it was really mind-blowing. I was like, what is going on? But as she kind of got more comfortable with her wings, I got more comfortable with her wings. And as Desmond was as he was comfortable and showing her that he loved her the way that she was, I was just like, I love this. I just loved the fact that he was just so amazing and loving towards her. Guys, now she's in this new kingdom, and Desmond is legit trying to claim her as queen, and she's not having it. She's like, I'm not queen. At one point, he was like, they're watching it because, you know, usually the fairies will keep their wings tucked in, but he had his wings out all the time, and so did she. And so all the other fairies were carrying, you know, or fae they're wearing their wings out. And she was like, why are they wearing their wings out? And she was like, because we're royalty. And she was like, I'm not royalty, you are. And I was like, yeah, chick, let him know that you haven't popped the question. You haven't asked a question. I'm just dating you right now, okay? There's boundaries. Hello? But there is this conflict of him really kind of pressing the matter of queen, and she's just like not here for it, okay? Also, we're not introduced, but we're to Temper, because Temperance is a character we met in book 1. That's Callie's best friend, but we're introduced to her power, okay? She is extremely powerful. She makes a grand entrance into book 2, okay? And I was here for it. Like, you guys know, if you watch in the first video, I like action, okay? I want action. Give me all the action. Give me all the gore. I want action, right? I legit was a little bit disappointed because I wanted more action, you guys. She came into the court booming and busting in, like ready for fighting, like ready for war, ready to fight. She was like, fight me, sis. Fight me, bro. I'm ready. I want my best friend. Let's go. Time to go. She came in as full sorcerer, completely transformed, like completely in her element, as like I felt like I envisioned her as Storm from X-Men. Like when I saw her come into the series, or when I listened to her come into this book, I envisioned her as Storm. I was like, yeah, get it, girl, get it. Just kill some people. Give me all the blood. But she did not, and I was disappointed. I was like, I wanted to see them fight, because I have yet to see Laura Thalassa's fight scenes. And I'm just like, this is like, this would be a 5-star book if I could get some like good fight scenes in this story. But like, her fight scenes are very much like, I'm powerful, you're gonna lose, right? And it's like, I want to go through the battle. I want to be there. I want to hear every pivot, every slash, every turn, every bloodletting. I want to feel the knife slashing through people. I want to see someone's arm getting ripped off. I want to hear the pain of someone screaming as their air is chopped off while they're continuing to fight. Like, I want the gore of war. I want the gore of action, but I did not get that yet from this book, especially when I saw the opportunity for it so many times. When Temperance came in, I would have liked it if she had done a couple of fighting. Like, if she did, like, they were trying to hold her off and she fought at least someone, right? Before Callie was like, hey, Temper, it's me, right? It was just like, this could have been so much, it would have been so much different if, you know, she did get to fight. I wanted to feel that. Like, I wanted that fight. Did not get it. It was still good. Like, I got to see her powers. I got to experience her power. So I was happy about that. But I just kind of wish that I got some more fighting from that. I just thought it was so hilarious that she came in like, I want my friend. We're going to get, like, where's my friend? Like, she did not care. She literally busted down a portal to get into this world, and she did not care. And I loved it. She had a fake captive. I was like, yes, get your friend, girl. Get your friend, okay? What I also love is that she's in here, she's like extremely comfortable, chilling, foot up, like chilling into this new world that she's never been in before. I thought that was hilarious. But what I also love, she was so into Malachi. My son's name is Malachi, so I was like, oh, Malachi. But she was into Malachi. Malachi is actually Desmond's really good friend. He's also the Lord of Dreams. And so he's like, they're like into each other, right? And I just love the dynamic between the both of them. I wanted more. Like, where is the rest? Like, where is the rest of Temperance? I want Temperance to have her own little series. Like, where is Temperance's series? I want her story. Because I'm very intrigued by her backstory. And we didn't even get that much of it. But I want more of her backstory. Like, I want to know more about her power. I want to know more about, you know, this concept of if she gives into the sorceress, she loses some of her morality. I want to know more about that. Like, I was very intrigued by that. I was also intrigued by Malachi. Like, he's a Lord of Dreams. What does he do? What is his job? Where does he live? Like, I wanted to know more about that as well, but we didn't get enough of that. And I just felt like I could have used some more of that kind of storyline. I get it. It would have taken away from the story. So I'm not taking points off for not getting to know more about them, because the fact that she made me curious about them is, I feel like she did her job as a writer. And so I love that. I just want more of them, right? Because they're so amazing. And so we also get to go to the Flora Kingdom for the summer solstice, right? And so we're there and we get to meet Mara and the Green Man, which is Mara's mate. and he's a little bit odd and off, and we find out later why he's off. I was just like shook. What I also love is that the mystery continued. So we still have the warriors sleeping and the random creepy children, and now men are being captured. Like male warriors are now being captured as well. And so now it's like, it's a critical situation at this point. What's going on? And why only the warriors, right? So it's just like this weird dynamic of, okay, this Thief of Souls is getting more and more brazen, more and more bold. So the Thief of Souls is basically taunting her. So she's in the forest at one point, and there's like blood on the trees, and they're like, what's going on with this, right? She and, Desmond are in the trees, just after sparring practice, and there's like random blood, and like, what's going on, right? People are missing. More and more soldiers are being kidnapped and missing, and so they want to know what's going on. Eventually, she finds out that the trees are capturing the soldiers, and so she's like chopping trees down to get these men, and they happen to be in the belly of the trees, and that's the one thing she cannot do in this place. Number one, in the Flora Kingdom, they enslave humans. So humans are called slave in a derogatory term, which is slave, and they're captured. Well, they're turned into slaves, and so first of all, you're a slave in this kingdom. Second of all, that tree is a sacred tree to Mara, the queen, and that's the one thing you cannot do. Like the one thing you cannot do, and she did it. And so now we have this huge conflict between her, Mara, and the Green Man, and then all of a sudden Desmond's father come out of nowhere fighting him. It was just crazy, and that was one of the part of the mysteries, and I had a feeling that it was someone portraying him, but I did not know. But we knew that it felt like someone was trying to portray Desmond to make him like look like he's guilty. I thought that they were trying to make him look guilty about all these things, which I think was what was really happening. But when I found out it was his father, I was like shook. I was like, what is going on? What's going on? It's crazy. And then there was a fighting scene that happened. Now, here's the thing. Like I told you guys, the fight scene is the important part for me. The fight scene was good. Like, I enjoyed the fight scene between Desmond and his father. And then you had the fight scene between Mara and Callie, and then you had the Green Man coming in, causing drama. He's like the devil. I felt like, in my mind, so we find out that basically the Thief of Souls can take different bodies, right? And so he was in the body of the Green Man. So y'all, the Green Man, the Thief of Souls reminds me of Hades from Hercules. Like he had the personality. Like whenever I heard him talk, or whenever the story would kind of get on him, I would just be reminded of Hades from Hercules. Very lazy, very like, it is what it is, very much bored, and like not how Hades was like dramatic, but like the funny, sarcastic, dry humor, almost like amused cruelty. His personality was like always amused, always cruel. And so we find out, and Mara finds out, that her mate is not her mate. Her mate is literally the enemy. And so yeah, like a lot happened. Now, of course, we come to the end part where Callie is fatally wounded. And of course, there's an option for her. This is very reminiscent of Court of Thorn and Roses. Actually, Court, book 2 and Court. I can't remember what it is right now, but it's very reminiscent of that, in that when the main character for Court ends up having a fatal injury, she is given the seed of life from all the different phase. And so like this, she's not given a seed of life, but she's given a plant or a drink that gives life, essentially, in terms of, has a lot of medicinal and magical properties. And now she is immortal. And so not only is she immortal, what we find out is that their magic is not compatible, right? She's a human, a siren who's a human, and there's Faith. They're also from two different worlds, so their magic is not compatible. And so even though that they're mates, their mating bond was like messed up. Again, very reminiscent of Court, right? But when they give her that drink, now the mating bond is even more stronger. Now, well, not even more stronger. Now the mating bond is repaired. Now she's immortal, but they played into the plan of the soul, of the soul thief. Like, I was just like, I mean, we know this. I know it needed to happen, but I was just like, ugh. There were a lot of moments in this book where I was just like, come on, guys. Come on. Basically, the reason why I rolled my eyes at those moments because like I called it. Like, I don't like to be able to call what I don't like to be able to call a book. I want twists in my plot to where I'm just like, I did not see that coming. And there were a lot of moments where I was like, duh, what did you expect? Like, an example. Let me give you an example where I rolled my eyes. Them not knowing that the Thief of Souls was still out there and being shocked about it. I was like, duh. I can tell where a book is going. I kind of get annoyed a little bit. It wasn't bad though. It wasn't bad. There were some moments where I was like, okay, good. I love this. I love how you're going with this. But there were a lot of moments where I was like, I saw this coming. And I was also annoyed that no one in the story saw this coming. Like, why isn't someone in there saying, this is what's going to happen? Like, I would have preferred that to happen versus acting as if you don't know what's happening. Like, I didn't like that. It just felt like it made Callie seem dumb. She like appeared to be dumb a couple times. And I was just like, what are you doing? So I didn't really enjoy that. The fight scene was not the best fight scene, but it was a good fight scene. I just wish I wanted more detail. Again, let me give you an example as to how intense I am about my fight scenes. The only book that has given me beyond above satisfactory fight scenes is Red Rising, the Red Rising series. And in a couple of the books in Throne of Glass, I am extremely hard on fight scenes. If you're gonna write fight scenes, do them good, or do them like I want you to be extremely detailed with the fight scenes. And so to write fight scenes, you have to have a good working knowledge of fighting. And so I can tell, especially with a lot of female writers, unfortunately, what happens is that they skim over the fight scenes and then spend a lot of time on the love scenes. Like, keep that same energy. Keep the same energy that you kept with the love scenes as you will do on the fight scenes. Like, is that too much to ask? Is that too much to ask? I'll give this book a 4.7. A 4.7. Here's why. 4.7 is for the storyline. 4.7 is for the world building. 4.7 for, when I say 4.7, I'm taking all these into consideration because you have the world building, which was beautiful. You have the overall storyline, which is beautiful. The plot, which was beautiful. I loved the villain in this story. He was very mysterious. I really loved that we didn't really get to know a bunch about him until later on. I love that the father came in as a random antagonist. I loved all of that stuff. I loved the love scenes between Callie and Desmond and Des. I love that. I also love the romance that is budding and blooming between Malachi and Temper. So I loved that. I loved the mystery because it's really a mystery as well as a love story, as well as a fantasy novel. And so I love the mystery component of this story. What I will say is the world is gorgeous. I love the world. I love the characters. I wanted to know more about Jana Soleil. I wanted to know more about the King of Day. He's amazing. We also got to meet Ethereal, which is also one of the captors from book 1. He was in prison with Callie. And so I was so happy that we actually got to see her and get to meet her in person. I just love her. I was just like, yay, you're good, you're okay. I'm so happy to see you. Would have loved to kind of get more again about that, but we didn't. It's okay. At least we got to meet her. I liked the whole moment that we had where Callie, stood up for her fellow humans and took some beating for them, and so I was like, yes. And of course Desmond was not having it. He was pissed, and he overreacted as he normally does. Actually, he didn't overreact. He did what I would have probably done if I was a Fae in that situation. So I was here for it. Now, Susanna Jones did an amazing job once again. She's an amazing narrator, you guys. I'm looking for other books of hers because she's just brilliant at narrating. I loved her voice. I loved how she portrayed the men. For me, what makes a really good female narrator is their ability to narrate a male voice and a male character and embody a male character without it sounding cheesy and gross. And she did not sound cheesy with the male characters or gross. I also love the fact that she gave each character their own personality and dynamics. She didn't try to sound masculine. What she did was embody their personality with her voice. And I could distinctly tell the difference between when she was reading the Thief of Souls, when she was reading Janus, when she was reading the Green Man especially, and when she was reading Des and Malachi. I felt the difference between them all. She's an amazing narrator. Kudos to her. She's amazing.
The only thing I would say is that the way that she read fight scenes, I think that probably is the reason why I didn't enjoy the fight scene as much. Because when I'm listening to a fight scene, I want to be in the moment, and the reading of the fight scenes cannot be on the same pace as the rest of the book. It has to be more agile. It has to be more, I want to hear your voice elevated to match with what's going on with the fight scene, and I did not get that from these particular fight scenes.
So overall, you guys, this book is great. I actually really like book 2 a little bit better than book 1, actually. Now, the writing style was a little bit different. In book 1, we had a comparison between 7 years ago and the current storyline until they merged together. In this storyline, everything is current, so we rarely kind of go backward. We are in the present the entire time. I did kind of miss the back and forth because I really enjoyed getting to see the current storyline and then getting to get a flashback. I love flashbacks in stories, so I enjoyed getting to see the comparison between the timelines in the story. We didn't have that in book 2, but I didn't miss it too much because I was into the story. I was engrossed and enthralled by the storyline. So if you guys have listened to this book, let me know below. If you're looking for a good story to listen to, I highly recommend you go ahead and pick this one up on Audible, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye, y'all.
Please like, comment, and subscribe.
The Audiobook Reviewer signing out.